This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. When I'm with my friends, I'm gonna let it shine. When I'm with my friends, I'm gonna let it shine. When I'm with my friends, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. And when I'm all alone, I'm gonna let it shine. When I'm all alone, I'm still gonna let it shine. When I'm all alone, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. I let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Some people stand on the sands of the shore, wishing the ocean could offer some cure for this world of resistance we found. Some people drown, we run and we dance and we sing, but few ever know life as a king. How we envy the light that you found. Please don't let us drown. Not you, you're walking on water. Not you, you're happily ever after your dream. So it seems to me. Some people stand on the side of the road, wishing some kind soul would shoulder their load, and they never leave their own hometown. Some people drown, we laugh and we dance and we climb, telling ourselves that the view is divine, but we never see heaven at all. We always look down. Don't look down. Not you, you're walking on water. To me. Some people wonder what life is about. Looking for answers, we search all around, from the depths of the ocean and sky. I wonder why all our dreams are made of love and fear. We are here and that's all that is clear. How we envy the light that you found. Please don't let us drown. Not you, you're walking on water. Not you, you're happily ever after your dreams. Yeah, so it seems to me. Not you, you're walking on water. Not you, you're happily ever after your dreams. So it seems to me. Beneath that tree, I wonder if he's thinking about me and how I'm gonna change the world. But all these voices in my head, I never heard a single word that he said. And how I long to live without the freezing shadow of my doubt. How I long to change the world, how I long to change, how I long to change the world. I've always been dreaming about how I'm gonna change the world. Another prophet on a tree. I thought the truth would set us all free. Thought you would have changed the world. So if I'm down on my knees, is it enough to say, Daddy, please? How I long to see this place full of mercy and of grace. How I long to change the world. How I long to change. How I long to change the world. I won't stop dreaming about how I'm gonna change the world. Gonna go to the mountain top, gonna see what there is to see. Yeah, gonna fall until I drop, learn that it wasn't me. Yeah, there aren't so many trees, there's many folks who feel just like me. Sure wish we could change the world. And maybe in our rock and roll, we'll find the truth we already know. And then we'll learn to live without the freezing shadow of our doubt. Maybe then we'll change the world. Maybe then we'll change. Maybe then we'll change the world. I think it's time to change the world. I think it's time to change. Think it's time to change the world. Come in and change the world. I think it's time to change. Change the world. Don't stop dreaming, 'cause we have got to change the world.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation at Montclair. My name is Marcus Greyhawk. I serve as the Director of Music Ministries and my pronouns are he, him, and his. It's good to have you with us again. If you're watching this service live on Facebook or YouTube, we encourage you to share your name in the comment section and let us know you are here. We also invite you to sing along with our hymns. The second hymn today will be Love Will Guide Us, and the text for that comes from Sally Rogers, who is a contemporary singer-songwriter. But the tune is an old hymn named Olympia, and it is named after Olympia Brown, who was the first female minister in this country to be ordained with the support of not just her local congregation, but the entire national denomination. And Olympia Brown was ordained as a Universalist minister in June 1863. The hymns today will be led by Loris Greyhawk and myself. On 2 songs we're joined by our daughter Beatrice and by Soleil Santora on violin, who is a youth in our congregation.
Love will guide us with hope inside us. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever age, identity, history, ability, gender, sexual orientation, or political affiliation, you are welcome to bring your full self here. Grounded in faith, we come together to nurture the soul, inspire hope, and bring into being a more just and loving world. Today's service will ask us to examine how we teach our children about who we are and who they could be. Our children are the children that we are related to, affiliated with, and the children that are in our interdependent web of existence. Our children are our present and our future travelers on this planet. If you are joining us at 10 a.m., please continue with us for a virtual connection cafe beginning at 11 a.m. Check your email and realm announcements for the Zoom link. It is time to light our chalice, a beacon to guide us through these times together. Perhaps you have a chalice or candle at home? Really, anything that you can illumine. Let's light our collective chalice as we share our chalice lighting affirmation.
Let us open our eyes to see what is beautiful. Let us open our minds to learn what is true. Let us open our hearts to love one another, to love one another. Let us open our eyes to see what is beautiful. Let us open our minds to learn what is true. Let us open our hearts to love one another, to love one another.
Our invocation comes from a text called The Prophet by the Lebanese writer Khalil Gibran. And a woman who held a babe against her bosom said, "Speak to us of children." And he said, "Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes not backwards, nor tarries with yesterday. You are the bows from which your children, as living arrows, are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness. For even as he loves the arrow that flies, so he loves also the bow that is stable.
Spirit of life, be with us as we enter into this space of depth, each as we are called, finding a soft meditation, a deep reflection, and ardent prayer, each as we are called, yet mystically all together. And we enter into this space of depth by hearing the lamentations, the requests, and the remembrances of our community. Let us hear one another to heal one another. We light this candle for Carolyn Burr, who was at the intensive care unit at Chilton Hospital battling pancreatitis. Please hold Carolyn in your prayers. A favorite hymn of Carolyn's is, "How Can I Keep from Singing?" You might hum that hymn and hold her in your love. Deborah Ann Tripoldi lights this candle for the Collar family. Joseph Collar died in a fire and his wife, Kathy, remained seriously injured. This candle is a flame of protection for their daughter. Kathleen O'Boyle lights this candle in remembrance for her son, Robert, who passed from a drug overdose on September 14th, 2017. Judy Renierson lights a candle of care and sorrow for Sue Moore, the mother of her daughter Hannah's boyfriend. Sue Moore has been fighting cancer and is now in hospice. Judy and Nick hold Hannah, Mike, and their family in thoughts and prayers. Teresa D'Souza lights this candle of love and support for her friend Chris Gurry. Chris is the sole caregiver for her mom, who is struggling with dementia, and the sole caregiver for her dog, who has been diagnosed with tumors on her vital organs. Chris is having a crisis of faith, so hopefully this candle will help light her path and ease her pain. Ginny Crooks lights this candle of healing for her friend John Hennington. John is in the hospital at Salt Lake City, Utah with COVID-19. John's oxygen levels are not good, and he is only in his 40s. Please send thoughts and prayers for his speedy recovery. Debbie Ann Tripoldi lights this second candle in celebration for her niece Macy, who turned 2 on October 18th. Happy birthday, Munchkin. Claudia Sanders lights this candle in celebration of her husband, Alan Sanders, who turns 80 October 24th. Lauren and John Carlton light this candle in celebration of the wedding of longtime UUCM member Ed Martolio and their new friend and his new wife, Susan First. Their joy in one another is making everything around them glow. Congratulations and mazel tov. And we light this final candle for the joys and sorrows deeply felt, yet left unspoken. In the silence that follows, you are encouraged to speak the names of those you are holding in your prayers or meditations, or to write them in the chat. May we hold this silence as this silence holds us. May our listening bring forth acts of love.
Spirit of life, God of my understanding, give me ears to hear and a will to listen. Help me open myself again, even now, to hear the possibility.
Open our ears to the cries of pain all around. Open our hearts to the need everywhere, the need for love in a time of fear, the need for care in a time of uncertainty.
Help us unwind all of the untruths that cloud our minds. Help us untangle the lies we've told ourselves, about failure and struggle.
Bring us strength to fall to our knees in humility.
Yes.
Willing to allow the sorrows of this world to move us.
Yes.
Willing to allow the wrongs of this world to motivate us.
Clear a space within us so that we might hear the truth that has eluded us. The truth that we are part and parcel of the earth incarnate, that we are whole even when we are broken.
Keep before us, Holy One, the moments of our high resolve. Lead us to see even the littlest lights of hope,
Yes.
those beacons shining the way toward the world we know can and should be,
Yes.
where all are treated with dignity and respect,
Yes.
where all share in our nation's bounty, where all will have loving arms into which they may fall when despair descends upon them.
Spirit of life, God of my understanding, give me ears to hear and a will to listen. Help us open ourselves again, even now, to hear the possibility.
May the gifts of life and the beauty of love shine on all. And in the name of that which each of us deems holy within, we pray. Amen.
Amen. What follows is an anthem. Children Will Listen, sung by Sarah Bernadette Matsushima, with Stearns Matthews on piano and Reverend Scott on percussion, of course. The song is a reminder that even now our children are learning. They are learning by witnessing our faith, our hope, and our resistance. They are learning by hearing us pray. And after our anthem, we will hear a reading by Viola Davis, Mother to Son by Langston Hughes. For both the anthem and the reading, you are invited into a space of deep listening, to hear the truths within the words, between the notes, to hear the messages that are calling to you, steadying you in this time of trial.
How do you say to your child in the night, nothing's all black, but then nothing's all white? How do you say it'll all be alright when you know that it might not be true? What do you do? Careful the things you say, children will listen. Careful the things you do, children will see and learn. Children may not obey, but children will listen. Children will look to you for which way to turn, to learn what to be. Careful before you say, listen to me. Children will listen. Careful the wish you make. Wishes are children. Careful the path you take. Wishes come true, not free. Careful the spell you cast, not just on children. Sometimes the spell may last past what you can see and turn against you. Careful the tale you tell, that is the spell. Children will listen. How do you say to a child who's in flight, don't slip away and I won't hold so tight? What can you say that no matter how slight won't be misunderstood? What do you leave to your child when you're dead? Only whatever you put in its head. Things that her mother and father had said, which were left to them too. Careful what you say. Children will listen. it too. Children will see and learn. Guide them but step away. Children will glisten. Tamper with what is true. Children will turn. If just to be free, careful before you say, listen to me. Children will listen. Children will listen. Children will listen.
Well, son, I'll tell you. Life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it. And splinters. And boards torn up. And places with no carpet on the floor. Bare. But all the time I's been a-climbing on. And reaching landings. And turning corners. And sometimes going in the dark where there ain't been no light. So boy, don't you turn back. Don't you sit down on the steps 'cause you find it's kinda hard. Don't you fall now. For I's are still going, honey. I's are still climbing. And life for me ain't been no crystal stair.
Don't you sit down on the steps, 'cause you find it's kinda hard. Don't you fall now. Mother to Son is a poem that one of the girls in our homeschool community learned every year, and in that learning unlocked the voice of her ancestors and the epigenetic perseverance that has been encoded in her DNA. Each day she sounded stronger as she emulated aunties and mamas who she had watched climb their own crystal stairs. In memorizing the poem, she stored the lesson of her own perseverance. No matter if there are splinters or bare places, keep climbing those stairs. No matter if the light is there or not, keep turning those corners. No matter if you struggle, don't you sit down. You can do the work of getting there, because getting there is what we do. I am reminded of the many times I watched my mother get there. Watched her overcome seemingly unsurmountable obstacles to secure the basic needs of our family. I was privy to her walking miles to go to work when there was no bus money, and her getting there and going without so that we could have. In those moments of struggle, I watched her set her mind for the hard times. She would play her gospel music, sometimes reveling in the comfort that it brought her, to hear songs of lamentation and songs of joy. She would sometimes tell us funny stories about her journey across the city, and each story had a nugget for us to tuck away for our own hard times. Sometimes they were harrowing, like the time her purse got snatched walking the bus line because she had no money to ride the bus. Her description of the barely old enough to be considered a man person left no space for us to think anything of him except that he was desperate and that he had made a questionable choice in his desperation of how to solve his problem. In a time where many of us would have been scared, angry, disheartened, she chose to present this young man to us as a person in need and someone who made a questionable choice. There was no messaging about his goodness or his badness. There was no messaging about how we chose to solve problems. There was only messaging about what we do in distress. The next day, she walked the same bus line. She walked that day and the day after that and the next. She needed to go to work and she needed to get home. The message was clear. Danger is not optional, but fear is. In her words, or in her lack of words, and in her deeds, she showed us what it means to be a person who lives by her values. We all have choices to make. Sometimes we may not choose well. That doesn't make us a bad person. And I wonder what I'm teaching my children. In this time of pandemic where we are too close together so much of the time, when there is no space for me to breathe my own breaths and think my own thoughts, it's hard to be vigilant about what I'm passing along. Will they remember when I shushed them for the 100,000th time on a Zoom call and gave them the mean face? Or will they remember that I encouraged them to speak up for themselves? What stories will they tell? Will they remember when I talked to them about the importance of feeding our neighbors and started carrying care packages in the car in case we encounter people who are hungry? Or will they remember the time I was too busy to stop? Each one of these actions teach something. Will they remember the time that I spoke up in the park for the nanny who was being questioned about whether she had any children in the park? Or will they remember the time when I turned my head and just couldn't get involved because I was too tired? We have all been firm in our convictions and fallen short. That makes us soundly human. In this time of division, we are facing choices as people of faith. We are also responsible for the children of our community. So this message is for each of us, not just parents. What message will we send the next generation? Will we teach our children that every person has worth and dignity, and at the same time speak vile and hateful words about politicians that we disagree with their policies and politics? Will we focus on the way that the person looks physically, or will we focus on the policies and the actions that the politician is doing to tear our country apart? Will we stand around and allow our friends and families to tell racist, sexist, homophobic jokes because we don't want to make a scene? Or will we model what it means to speak up? To speak up even when we're afraid. To speak up even when it means that our relationships could have tension. To speak up even when it means our relationships may have separation. Will we embrace the idea that people can have many, many genders and yet whisper to our friends that all this pronoun business is just too PC? Will we teach our children that people deserve equity and then be afraid to say something about conflict to the person because you don't want to be seen as that person? Because, let's be clear, giving someone a pass because they are different than you is not equity. If you would have been open to have the difficult conversation with a person if their race, gender, sexual orientation, class, ability was the same as yours, but not if they differ, that is oppression. That will not help us move into the future. When we go to the protest, buy the t-shirt, donate to the cause, but in intimate moments of our lives, our friend groups, our work groups, our play groups, our neighborhoods are homogeneous, we are showing our children our values. We are saying that we value the sameness, and that sameness keeps us safe. Oh, my friends, be not afraid. Let me be clear. I'm telling you to go to make a diverse group of friends, but I'm not telling you to make a diverse group of friends for diversity's sake. I am saying go do the things outside of what you might normally do. Make connections and build on them. In these times, this may mean attending an online group that interests you, but may make you a little nervous because you don't know everyone. Or this may mean that when you're at an event that you don't seek to be the expert, that you seek to be a learner, that you sit back and listen. This may mean reconsidering what we have always done to draw the circle wider and to invite other voices in. Careful the things you say. Children will listen. Careful the things you do. Children will see and learn. Our children are listening. They are not just our future, they are our present. They are our mirror. They are a living blend of who they were when they came into this world and what we have shown them along the way. We can give them our love, but not our thoughts. Yes, that is true. Yet, we also know that our nurturing has some effect on who we become. We think of how we were affected, for better or worse, and we can sometimes track our actions back to those teachings of our parents. I learned a story long ago about a woman who liked to cook every year for the holidays. She had a recipe that she loved. It required her to prepare ham in a way that she had only seen the women in her family do. And she was very proud of this recipe. And one year, she decided it was time to teach her daughter how to do it. Her daughter was so excited because learning to make the family ham meant that she, too, was joining the line of women before her. She woke up early to learn all the ways that the ham was prepared and how the recipe worked and the spices. And she followed that recipe, and she went to that recipe box that was given to her by her mother and her mother by her great-grandmother. And she just looked at it, and she felt generations speaking to her. When she was reading the recipe, it said that when the ham was all prepared, the last step was to cut both ends off the ham. She read it again. She read it again because she didn't understand why she would need to cut both ends off the ham. So she asked her mom. Her mom said, I'm not sure that's the way your grandmother taught me. It's just the way it's done. Why don't you call your grandma and ask? And the girl did and was given the same answer. The grandmother suggested that the child call her great-grandmother, and she did. And the great-grandmother laughed when she was asked why they cut both sides of the ham. She told her great-granddaughter that cutting off both sides of the ham is how she fit it into her too little pan. Just like that, they had a recipe. And just like that ham recipe, there are recipes in our metaphorical recipe box that we may need to re-examine. What generational recipes are we passing forward, not only in our families, but in our faith community? These are big questions that we need time to consider and reconsider. There are some aspects of your recipes that will delight and others that will be horrifying. Sit with that. Sit with that. And then tell yourself that you are now the chef and that the meal has not yet been prepared. The recipe isn't the end of the meal. It only lays out a suggestion of what the meal could be. We still can change it. We still can teach an alternate method of making the dish. Our willingness to pivot, to undo, to rebuild, and to recommit to thinking and acting ourselves into new ways of being will guide us through it. In the book, The Queer Art of Failure by Jack Halberstam, he states that under certain circumstances, failing, losing, forgetting, unmaking, undoing, and unbecoming, not knowing, may in fact offer more cooperative, and more surprising ways of being in the world. What if that becomes one of our most cherished recipes? What if that idea that we can fail, and in that failing, under certain circumstances, we can create more cooperative and surprising ways of being in the world? What if we let go of the act of perfection and succeeding? What if we do it differently sometimes? What if we try alternate methods? Khalil Gibran writes in The Prophet, "You are the bows from which your children, as living arrows, are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might that his arrows may go swift and far." Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness, for even as he loves the arrow that flies, so also he loves the bow that is stable. Let us do the work of building stability in our homes, our communities, and in our congregations. We, each of us, have arrows to send forth into this world. Each of us has a child that we are responsible to and for. Figure out who that child is for you. It may not be a child you ever met. It may not be a child you will ever meet. It may be a child that lives in your home, and it could be a child in any of the spaces in between. Each action that we take toward a more just and equitable world is a step in the direction of a future that allows the archer's hand to bend us for gladness. Each action keeps us stable. Each action allows the arrow to fly. Our last hymn is "This Little Light of Mine." Please join us in singing.
Shine.
Let's let it shine. Everywhere. Everywhere we go. When you give to our offering, 80% of your gift will care for the Unitarian Universalist congregation at Montclair, and 20% will support our Justice recipient. This month's Sharing Our Riches recipient is Campaign Zero, a comprehensive platform of research-based policy solutions to end police brutality in America. Funds donated here support the research and analysis of policing practices and the development of legislation to end police violence nationwide. You can text to give, mail us a check, or go to our homepage and click on the Donate button. This is a time of need. All of your gifts are worthy, and they are all received with love.
Go forth and let your little light shine. Let it illuminate the spaces that have not seen light. Let it warm the places in your heart where you are considering your new way, and let it be a beacon to guide you.
Our worship has ended. Let our service begin. Go in peace. Go in joy. Go in love.
Until we meet again,
Virtually or otherwise,
let your light shine. And know
You are in our hearts.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. When I'm with my friends, I'm gonna let it shine. When I'm with my friends, I'm gonna let it shine. When I'm with my friends, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. And when I'm all alone, I'm gonna let it shine. When I'm all alone, I'm still gonna let it shine. When I'm all alone, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. I let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Some people stand on the sands of the shore, wishing the ocean could offer some cure for this world of resistance we found. Some people drown, we run and we dance and we sing, but few ever know life as a king. How we envy the light that you found. Please don't let us drown. Not you, you're walking on water. Not you, you're happily ever after your dream. So it seems to me. Some people stand on the side of the road, wishing some kind soul would shoulder their load, and they never leave their own hometown. Some people drown, we laugh and we dance and we climb, telling ourselves that the view is divine, but we never see heaven at all. We always look down. Don't look down. Not you, you're walking on water. Not you, you're happily ever after your dreams. At least so it seems. It's to me. To me. Some people wonder what life is about. Looking for answers, we search all around, from the depths of the ocean and sky. I wonder why all our dreams are made of love and fear. We are here and that's all that is clear. How we envy the light that you found. Please don't let us drown. Not you, you're walking on water. Not you, you're happily ever after your dreams. Yeah, so it seems to me. Not you, you're walking on water. Not you, you're happily ever after your dreams. So it seems to me. What does it mean to me? Beneath that tree, I wonder if he's thinking about me and how I'm gonna change the world. But all these voices in my head, I never heard a single word that he said. But how I long to live without the freezing shadow of my doubt. How I long to change the world, how I long to change, how I long to change the world. I've always been dreaming about how I'm gonna change the world. Another prophet on a tree. I thought the truth would set us all free. Thought you would have changed the world. So if I'm down on my knees, is it enough to say, Daddy, please? How I long to see this place full of mercy and of grace. How I long to change the world. How I long to change. How I long to change the world. I won't stop dreaming about how I'm gonna change the world. Gonna go to the mountain top, gonna see what there is to see. Yeah, gonna fall until I drop, learn that it wasn't me. Yeah, there aren't so many trees. There's many folks who feel just like me. Sure wish we could change the world. And maybe in our rock and roll, we'll find the truth we already know. And then we'll learn to live without freezing shadow of our doubt. Maybe then we'll change the world.